lads, so the day is finally here with 1000 Year Blood War round 15 finally returning. We did mention it last month, is that if it didn't come out late November, it was probably going to come out early December, and here we are. This is dropping in less than 24 hours time, so let's talk about it. Now, I know this is a very exciting banner for many because it is free really hype characters, and at the same time, all free characters still hold up to this day, even though they only been out for like 4 or so months, but they're still all great characters. And the great thing I just realized right now, actually, is that step 1 is free. So this is the first example that we can see here, is that even the new 1000 Year Blood War characters onwards from round 15 plus, every time they get their rerun, we're getting step 1 free. So there's going to be some of you that's watching this video, and hopefully it's you. Yes, you watching this video, right? When you do that first resummon, you're going to walk away with a character that you potentially want. Now, the banner in question is going to be dropping tomorrow morning and will last until the 21st. So unfortunately, we don't know what end of year is going to be while this banner is out, but again, it's very likely to be a 1000 Year Blood War banner. And at the same time, and I will talk about this later on as the time does come, but I do feel like it is worth mentioning, is that Burn the Witch is also coming back. It's not going to be new characters, but round 1, 2, and 3 are all set to come back in the same banner. And if you don't know, Burn the Witch characters are a collaboration character, so they are on the rarer side. We don't always get them. Usually they come back during hype periods like this. And they also came back right before the 7th anniversary, so kind of like to literally save these characters right before a big banner. Which is kind of unfortunate, but this banner should be dropping around the 6th, so in a couple of days' time that should be there. And it does feature these 9 characters, so maybe if you want to potentially summon for one of those characters, then definitely keep that in mind. I thought it was just worth mentioning. But for now, let's again focus on 1000 Year Blood War round 15. Now, the banner itself is actually pretty decent, all things considered. The main reason why you would be summoning on this banner is for round 15. And just comparing it to the last time it was here, keep in mind last time it was a 7-step banner and you had to spend 250 orbs after step 7 with no guarantees and no more discounts. The benefit of actually waiting a couple months to summon for these characters is that it's now in a better banner. Step 1 is going to be free, step 2, 7, 12, 17, and 22 is going to be discounted at 200 orbs, and then step 6, 11, 16, and 21 are going to be discounted at 150 orbs. At the same time, if you are someone that is brave enough to go to all the way to step 25, you are also getting guaranteed 5 featured characters, which of course includes one of the 9 characters here. It's a normal step-up banner, but just compared to how it was last time, I would say it's an upgrade. So with that said, let's talk about the 3 characters returning. In this case, firstly, we have Yhwach, a Heart no affiliation character with the Captain Killer. Currently, at the time of me making this video, he is still the best Brave Battle character in the entire game. He's able to do a lot of damage right from the get-go, and his damage actually gets increased the more you defeat enemies and the more your allies get defeated. Every time an ally or an enemy gets defeated, it increases normal attack damage by 20%. And he already has Flurry plus 2, so that's actually quite crazy when you really think about it. At the 50%, he takes 50% less damage, and at the same time, he is also a team booster. But most importantly, the boost that he does have does include the booster skill, which therefore allows him to decrease your attack, focus, and defense by 43%. Not only can that give you the advantage in Brave Battles, it's also really good in something like Guild Quest, for example, where he is someone that I use in multiple weeks of Guild Quest, even when he doesn't even have Killer. With that and the fact that he does have Paralysis and Drain on every single attack except his SA2, this makes him really good, because most Brave Battle characters right now in the meta don't really inflict any really good stat elements. There's a few. And this character not only being the highest DPS character, being a tanky character that to boosting your team, but the fact that he can also paralyze and also drain is just really good for his survivability and can completely change a game. There have been multiple times where I won because I inflicted paralysis, and multiple times where I lost because their Yhwach inflicted paralysis on me. And while I do think that potentially sometime at the end of the year, maybe even sometime in 2023, this character will get outclassed, Brave Battles isn't ever going meta, he's still someone that's always going to have a place for a very, very long time. So in my opinion, he's still a character worth investing in, especially if you want to take Brave Battles seriously, and also just have a really good supporter in any guild crush you go against, because this character can definitely support you. Next up, we have 1000 Year Blood War Yamamoto. Still maybe debatable the best character in the game. This character is absolutely insane. For starters, he has the best strong attack kit in the entire game, that being a 3000 length beam forward, a distant AoE into a tracking vortex, and a full screen SA3. With a high damage output thanks to his 40% Berserker, Frenzy plus 1, when you inflict a stat element, which you can do very easily thanks to that SA2, you get an 80% boost to your spiritual pressure stat, and at the same time, when you do inflict a stat element, and keep in mind this character can inflict both burn and also weakening, he then is able to do 80% more damage to those particular enemies. On top of the fact that this character has bombardment plus 1 and also weakened defense, it allows him to be a very super hard nuker in Guild Quests. You've probably seen it many times, but this character can easily get a sub 1 second by himself in the hard difficulty Guild Quests, assuming you have dupes to this character. But even only 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5, this character can still nuke very hard and is a very good Guild Quest character character at that, and even outside of Guild Quest, he's amazing, his damage output is great, and by far one of the more fun characters in the game, and basically my main go-to power character in any content I can put him against. And I know after episode 6 of 1000 Year Blood War, many people are trying to get their hands on this character because that episode was hype, and so was his character. And then the last of the 3 banner characters, we have 1000 Year Blood War Aizen, the Agony version. This is a very powerful non-attack damaging character that also saw a somewhat upgrade thanks to the gauge mechanic being changed. But in terms of non-attack damage characters, he's basically the best out there. He's a very fast and fun nat string that can do a lot of damage thanks to his Flurry +1, 60% bruiser, and also when you do inflict a stat azimuth, which again he can do very easily since every attack except his SA2 has a stat azimuth, which is weakening. And he does have an increased chance of inflicting stat azimuth, so it's super easy for him to get the attack boost thanks to his Flurry +1 and also 60% bruiser. But most importantly, when you do inflict a stat azimuth, you then get an 80% stat boost to your attack stat, and that allows his character to hit super hard, and it's very easy for him to actually keep the attack boost thanks to the fact that he does have an increased chance of inflicting a stat azimuth against any speed enemy. And that right there is actually amazing, especially considering that the stat azimuth that he can inflict is actually weakening. On top of the fact that he has hit enemies plus guard break and also a boost SA2, which does include multi-barrier, so you're providing your team with a 3-hit barrier and yourself with a 5-hit barrier. This character basically has it all. But then it gets better because he does have the gauge mechanic. So the more you use your attacks, the more you're building up that gauge, and when you do complete it, you then pick up an additional 100% bruiser for the next 10 seconds. This allows him to hit very hard. At 1 out of 5, he basically solos hard guild quest if you're looking for someone to take on the Aaroniero guild quest, the ranged one more specifically. And at the same time, as far as knight characters go, he's just super fun to play around with. Usually I don't bring knight characters into co-op content, like IT for example, but in Aizen's case, he's my main go-to tech character. So that's the 3 main banner characters. They're the reason why you would summon, but at the same time, you're also more likely to get some of these characters, so let's quickly talk about them. The first filler character is Senjumaru. Now, most of these 1000 Year Blood War characters are a tad bit old and they are starting to show their age, so for the most part, they're just collector's items, but some of them are still decent. In this case, Senjumaru is mainly a character designed to be used in inheritance trials when there are Aaroniero enemies, which luckily is actually going on right now. She has an increased chance of inflicting a stat azimuth, which is Lacerate, and she has that on every single attack except her SA2, so she's a pretty decent character that mainly is just going to be used in IT if you really want to use them. Kiryu, kind of a weird character. She is a Nad character with a boost and heal combo SA2, but unfortunately this character wasn't really given guard break, so for the most part the only place you would realistically use her is in Senkamon or the ranged Soripa guild quests. Tenjiro still holds up to this day in my opinion, basically has a 40% berserker, 20% of that actually goes to speed attribute Soripas, has a revived soul bomb, a good strong attack hit. The only thing he's really lacking in compared to some of the newer characters is a tad bit of survivability, as he doesn't have any way to heal himself, much immunities, and also the damage output. 40% berserker is still good enough if you decide to transcend this character, but you know, compared to some of the newer characters, it really doesn't compete. 1000 Year Blood War Soifon, still a character that holds up in my opinion, mainly for her guild quest usage, but she is a melee Aaroniero character, so she doesn't need guard break because that is one big thing about her. She wasn't given guard break, and that does limit where you can use her, but at the very least when you do use her, when there are Aaroniero enemies, she doesn't need it since Aaronios don't have any melee guards. She has a very fun Nad kit, and I really do like this character, especially when you use her SA2. It's a boost which has a surrounding vortex and also transforms her, changes her visuals a tad bit, and also increases the amount of damage that she can do. For the most part, she's still one of the go-to characters for the immediate Aaroniero guild quest, and she does have freeze immunity. She is a Nad character, and so far there really hasn't been a replacement of her yet. Yamamoto, again, very similar to Tenjiro, a character that has a good strong attack kit. Unfortunately though, is lacking on the damage output as he wasn't really given any berserker value, and at the same time wasn't really given havoc. His resurrection could be actually somewhat decent, but it is quite a while away, and while this character has some really good visuals, he is lacking when compared to some of the newer characters, especially the other Yamamoto in this banner. And then lastly, we have Aizen, who isn't really that good, has a really cool gimmick with the charging SA3, which is the complete incantation of the Kurohitsugi, and if you hold that button down for like 23 seconds, you can fully charge up. It's a really cool fan service effect, but unfortunately, practicality, it's not really that great, and this character is very lackluster compared to most characters in this game right now. But again, for the most part, some of these older 1000 Year Blood War characters are mainly just there to be a collector purpose. So with that said, that's basically the breakdown for the 1000 Year Blood War Essence Summon. I would say, of course, save for end of year, because end of year is going to be insane, but this is a banner that I know a lot of people have been waiting for, and if you want these 3 characters, then summon. I would say summon. You know what, end of year is coming up, but you already know that, right? I don't need to tell you that end of year is coming up, and there's no guarantee that end of year is actually going to be characters that can compete with these characters, because what we have here is a very powerful Tech Knight character that's great in guild quests. We have a very powerful Brave Battle battle character that is also great in Guild Quest thanks to his SA2. And then you also have Yamamoto, basically the best power character in the game, absolutely insane character, also amazing in Guild Quest and Arenas. So they have a lot of usage, all three of these characters, and even if we do hypothetically get a better character at the end of the year, I don't really see them doing what these three characters can do. So if you are someone that is a fan of these three characters and you want to pull for them, then by all means go ahead and good luck on your summons. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the comments below, let me know if you do plan to summon and how deep do you plan to go. I'm kind of curious to know, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.